Hello and welcome to my channel Making Crafts. Today I'm going to be creating a mini journal using this die set from In Love Arts Shop, and I will link below to the shop, but I'll also put the coupon code on the screen, Susan25, and that's my affiliate coupon code. So if you use that coupon code, it actually helps me out, but you'll also get 25% off your order. So I think this would be a fun little journal to make. So I'm going to use these dies in the way that they were intended today, but then I'll also use them in some ways that they weren't intended to make some little pages. So I've also just chosen some paper that I had in my stash. This is just some paper I've had for quite some time, and I thought it would be cute as a mini journal. And these dies cut really well, so I'm just using my new Spellbinders Platinum 6 die cutting machine. So I've always used the Sizzix Big Shot, but for Christmas I bought myself this Spellbinders Platinum machine, and I really like it. So with these dies in this machine, I have no problem cutting them out. You just run it through one time, and it's the same thing with my Sizzix Big Shot with these dies. You just run it through one time and it cuts out. I am having a little trouble today because my mat wants to slide around. I don't have a way to stick this mat down, so it does slide around when I use my die cutting machine on my table. Normally I have it on the table beside me, but I just wanted to show you how you run these dies through the machine in case you are new to die cutting and you don't even have a machine yet. I wanted you to be able to see what these machines look like, because a lot of times I talk about them but I never show them, and it's really shocking how much I use mine. As you can see from my plates here, the plates look like they are so old, but I die cut all the time. Several days a week I will be die cutting if I'm crafting. So I've gone ahead and cut out all of the pages, but this is not all the pages we're going to put in our journal. This is just some pages to get us started. So I've cut out 2 of each of the pages using these dies. So the first pocket is pretty simple, or page pocket is pretty simple. And here's the second die, and you can turn it either way to make your pockets. And that will just change on what side that your pockets are going to be on the page when you put it in your journal. And it'll also, you'll just change, which solid page is up. So to get started on these, all I do is just fold on the score lines, and these little score lines are small. You have just a small little flap to fold over, but it's really not that hard, and if you just take your time. I love little projects like this. I really enjoy just putting little things together like this when it's almost like a craft kit in a box, because the dies do all the work for you. So I had a lot of fun creating this mini journal. So once you get the flaps folded over, all you need to do is just run a really thin line of glue on your flap. And I'm just being very careful and just putting a very small amount of glue on each flap. And with this glue that I'm using, it sticks so quickly that you really don't have to use a lot. But also any glue I think would hold these flaps. You just put a very little on so that it's not oozing around your pocket. Since these pockets are so small, they're not going to get a lot of wear and tear, so just adding little dots of glue will be fine. Now I should have pre-folded this over before I added the glue, so I'll just have to remember that for the next pocket. And I really wish I would have decorated this page before I folded these pockets over, but that's okay. We can come back later and decorate the page up. If we had decorated it before I folded them over, we could have stamped it or stenciled or done different things, but since I didn't, I will come back and decorate it up just a little bit on the edge. So really the first little page is done, and it's really that simple. It's just to fold the pockets over and just be sure you get them glued down good. And I have gone ahead and cut out some of the tags that fit in this pocket. So you come with, this die comes with the tags for the pocket as well as the page and pockets. So I think that's a cute little page. I think this is a cute little size journal. And here are how the tags fit in. So I'm just going to try to find a variety of tags to use. And that would be cute. I don't know if that's the ones I'll settle on in the end, but I think that's cute, the different colors sticking out of the pockets. So now for the next page, it's just a larger pocket page. And once again, I'm just going to fold on the scored lines. And it is tiny flaps again. So I'm just going to test it first before I glue it this time to make sure everything fits. And then I'm just going to add a little thin bead of glue. And if you wanted to for your journal, that's all you would have to do is just create all of these style pockets for your journal. But I'm going to show you in a few minutes how I create some other pages for this journal as well. So this one has a little tag that will go in it as well. Now the tag feels really loose right now because the pages are not put together yet. But once you put your pages together, it holds that pocket a little tighter and the tag will fit a little bit better. And I think this little yellow one looks good. And I think the little yellow one looks good with this page. So I'm just going to go through and create the other two pages. Once again, just folding on my score lines. I think projects like this is really good when you've taken a crafting break and you need to get back in the groove of crafting, or when you just kind of burn out and have no idea what to do next. This is just a fun little project because you really don't have to come up with anything on your own. It's just use the dies and, use the dies to cut it out and just fold it like you want it. And the fun thing is you can come back and decorate this up however you want to, because it is a little plain at first. So I will come back and decorate these pages up. So now I have another 3-pocket page completed, and so you can tell by cutting this one a different direction, the pockets are then going to be on the front side of our page. So I've gone ahead and cut out another one of the 3-pocket pages, but this time I'm not going to keep it as 3 pockets. So this is where I'm going to be changing up these dies a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off the first pocket and the last pocket, and so I'll just keep a pocket in the center. But you could do so many things with this page. I could have just cut the top 2 off and left the bottom one, or you can just use the top one and have the bottom ones gone, however you want to do, but it just changes it up a bit and gives it a different look and gives you another little page to add to your journal. And so once I cut these off, I am going to save those pockets because I'm probably going to use them later. And I've gone ahead and cut down some more cardstock to the size of these pages that these dies are so that I can cover the back, because before I kind of wish that I had covered the back some for the pocket ones. So for this one, I've gone ahead and cut a sheet so that I can do that. And then I'm just going to glue it to the page, and then I'll come back and trim around it and add my holes later. So I did cut it really close to the size of the page, but as you can see, the corners are not rounded and it does hang over just a little, so I'll just have to trim just a little bit off. But I thought it was better to cut it a little larger than it'd be too small. So it's not that much larger, but that way I can get it really flush with the page. Now I want to try this corner punch to see if I can just cut the corners with the corner punch, but honestly they're a little bit more rounded than the die does, so for the rest of them I'm just going to clip the corners. I'm not going to use the punch on those. But it doesn't look bad. I would just need to go through and make all the pages match, I think, if I did that. But I decided I didn't want to go through all that trouble, so I'm just going to clip the corners next time. I'm going to use my smallest hole punch on my Crop-A-Dile, and I'm just going to go through and re-punch these holes. Each time I have to clean my hole punch out so that I can actually see the hole so that I don't go the wrong direction with it. I need to be able to get exactly over the hole. So the middle one, I have made the hole a little off, but that's okay. We will come back and fix that. We can cover that up and fix it later. So if you make any mistakes, don't worry about it. You can see there the hole is a little bit too large on that pocket, so I got off a little bit. But if you make mistakes, don't worry about it. This is a lot of fun. just coming up with ways to cover up your mistakes is fun too, because it makes you add more decorations to your journal, and you'll see later how I'll fix this mistake. Well, actually, I go back thinking I can fix it with a hole punch, but that's not going to fix it. So I'm going to show you later how I cover up this mistake and still use this page. So I've gone ahead and cut out a bunch of pages for my journal, just going by the size closely to the size of the die pages. And then I'm just going to go through and trim a little off each one by holding it up to one of the pages that I cut out. And I'm just going to do that with all of the pages that I've gone ahead and cut out for my journal, because I wanted some pages just to be plain pages and not have all those pockets on them. And then I'll have to come back through and just clip the corners on each one. Just a little clip matches what the die has on the pages there. So I really didn't need to use the corner punch. I'll just clip each one. Remember, we're making a little junk journal, so everything does not have to be perfect either. So this little pocket holds the tag, but this little pocket's driving me crazy because of how I messed up the hole. So I'm trying to decide how I'm going to fix it. So I'm just going through my scraps, and I have all of these little strips that were left over from either cutting out the pages using the dies or when I cut out my pages for the journal. So I'm just going to find a little strip that I like with this paper, and I'm just going to add it and repunch my holes. I really like the looks of this little plaid strip, so I'm just going to add this strip, and we'll try to repunch those holes and see if we can get it better this time. And if I can't, then, you know, it's just paper, we'll start over. But let's see if we can salvage this page first. So I'm just going to line this strip up with the edge of the page, and then I'm going to trim around the excess. And this is the one that we used our corner punch on, so I'm just going to round the corners to match it. So before I cover up the other side, I'm just going to go through and I'm going to punch my holes again. But this time, hopefully, I can get them in the right spot and not make them too large, not to mess them up. So I keep beating on this thing to get the pieces out, but I realize I'm going to have to get some sort of pokey tool so that I can poke all these little bits out each time so that I can move on to the next hole so I can see where it goes. So I'm just trying to make sure that I have my hole, that I put my hole in the correct spot. So I'm just going to use this one as my guide and just hold it over it, and hopefully I don't mess it up as well. And I didn't, I hit it just right. And this hole punch is driving me crazy because these little pieces just will not come out, and you can't see your hole if they stay in. So, and they're so tiny, it's really hard to get them out. They want to just stick to the hole punch. So now the hole on this side still is too large and doesn't look good. So we're just going to find another piece of paper to cover that hole up and do the same thing. We're going to repunch it. And this just adds a little bit more decoration to the page. I really like how the plaid looked on the other side. And so hopefully this one will just add to this pocket as well. So like I said, don't stress it. If you mess up, just cover it up with another piece of paper and some glue. Just glue something on it, or you can add a sticker over it, anything you have. Doesn't need to be anything stressful. So I've got to make sure that my hole punch is cleaned out so I can see. And then I'm just going to bring it back through and repunch that hole again. There we go, we have it fixed. So now the page has been saved. So for this page, we have this pocket page that I've already created, and this is one of the pockets left over where I trimmed off of the previous page. So I'm just going to add it to the bottom of this pocket here, just to add a little something to it. You don't have to do all of these. If you want to keep it more simple, like I said, and just die cut all of your pages out and just use that style for every page, you could do that. But today I just wanted to play around and see what all I could do with these pages. With them being so tiny and just, it's easy to decorate. And this comes together really quick because the pages are so tiny. There's not a lot of work involved. And I just needed a project like that to relax and just enjoy my afternoon. So I'm just showing you here, I'm just putting a very little bit of glue. You just want to put a really small bead of glue on these since they are so tiny. And there we have another cute little pocket on the bottom. So now I'm just going to use this page to go through and mark all of my holes on the pages that I cut out that are just going to be just plain little pages in my book that are not going to have, when I mean plain, they're not going to have pockets or anything on them. They're just my pages that you could actually journal on or decorate or add photos to. So I'm just going to go through and mark all of those holes, and then I'll come back with my hole punch and punch each one. And I'm cutting out all of the aggravation with the hole punch because each time I do this, I've got to either shake out the little hole or I'm having to use my tool to poke it out. So be sure that you do that though so that you can see exactly where your holes go so everything lines up good when you put your book together. So here is a little piece from the paper pack, and it's just a little decorative square. So what I've done is I've just trimmed it out, and then I'm going to use that as a pocket on the front of my journal. So this is my front of my journal page, or cover I should say. This is the cover of my journal. I didn't change the thickness of my covers. I just created them out of the same cardstock, but I've just added the pocket to the front. So now it's time to just put all the pages together. I have them all hole punched. I have all the pockets created. And so I've just gone through and I've put just different little papers in, and I'll show you in a moment all of the little papers that I did put in. I used some of the papers from the paper pack. They were like little journaling cards in the paper pack. They were too large, so I did trim them down to match the side of the page, to match the size of the pages. Some of the little cards would work, some of them didn't. So I just went through and did that, and then I went through my scraps of this paper pack and just cut out little pieces to use as pages. So now I'm just going to string all of these together using some yellow and white twine. I think that's what you call this. My brain is just, I've lost the correct word for it at the moment. But it's just string. It's the twisted string. It has yellow and white on it. So I just chose that because of the yellow butterfly on the front. But you could use like the really tiny ribbon through it, or you can just use yarn. You could use pretty much anything. You could also, if you wanted to, you could use little metal clips. They're like, I can't think of what they are. They're little metal round clips that you can use to put your journals together. And right now my brain, like I said, I can't think of the words. It's getting a little late. But I thought it would be cute just to tie these together with this string. But there's several different ways that you could do this. Now it does take quite a bit for me because I've put a lot of pages in this now. So it takes a moment to get this string through, especially since the string is almost too thick for this journal. And as you know, anytime you're trying to put string through, it wants to fray the whole time. So I finally got it in, and I didn't even tie bows. I just tied little knots on the side. And here is my completed journal. So let's do a flip through of it. I've added this little tag to the front pocket, and this tag was part of the dies. So then here I've just cut out little pages to go in here. And this is the little pocket page that we created. And I've just added just some little pieces from my paper pack as well as one of the tags from the die. And then we need to go ahead and add some decoration to this page. So I've got this little strip of paper. It was just a scrap left over from where I had cut out some pages for this journal. So I'm just going to add that to the edge of my page to decorate it up. I think it just needs a little bit more since there's so much white in the background. And that was the page where I created before I thought about adding papers to the background. So I think this is going to dress it up some. And then I'm just going to trim off the excess. It might have been a little easier if I'd done this before I tied the book together, but I kind of wanted to decorate it after I tied it together. It's not that big a deal. So I think that makes the page look a lot prettier. So then I just need to pick out some of these tags, and I just cut out a bunch of tags from this paper pack using the die so that I'd have a variety for each of the pages. And really I cut these little tags out of a lot of the scrap pieces. So for these two pages, I'm just going to leave them like that. I think they're really cute like that. Now I have this little saying, dreaming of flowers and sunshine, and I want to, it came from the paper pack, and I want to add it to some of the pages, a set of pages like this, but I'm not sure which ones I'm going to add it to yet. Because this is, I'm dreaming of flowers and sunshine because I am ready for spring. So I thought that would be perfect to add to this journal. But before I add it, I am going to glue them onto some black cardstock and just use the black cardstock to frame it out. Now I'm not worrying about getting a perfect cut around these to frame them out. I'm just trimming them out, and they may be a little wonky, but that's okay for this journal. I'm fine with that. I did get a little clever and decided to glue all of my words down on one strip of the paper so I could use my paper trimmer to help me some, so I didn't have to cut each one out with scissors. And so now I've decided I'm going to just add it to this page because one side is blank and one has the flowers, so I thought that would be a good page to add it to. So I'm putting Dreaming of Sunshine on one side and then and flowers on the other. That just adds a little something to our little journal. And then I'm just going to use this tag in that pocket. And then we've got our itty bitty tag pocket. I'll put the Hello Love there. And this paper pack looked really cute in this mini book, I thought. I really loved how it turned out. So just need to add another tag to this pocket. And then that is the finished journal, but I have all these tags left over, so I'm going to flip through and see where I missed adding my tags. And I added it to this page, but somewhere along the way I've missed adding the tags to my page, to one of my pages. So it's this page. So I want to go ahead and get all of my tags added in. I thought I had cut the correct number, but then I was a little confused that I had these left over. And I think it's cute, the different colors up and down through there. So there is our completed journal. I'll do another little quick flip through of it. I really like how it turned out. I did ink the edges of all of the pages. As I was flipping through, I thought I was done, but I decided I want to decorate the pages up a bit more. So I had this piece of paper left over from the paper pack, the little scrap left over. So I decided to cut out the letters LOVE and add it to this pocket page. And that's the fun thing about these little mini journals like this. You can just keep adding and adding to them and decorating your pages up. And I'm not really sure how I'm going to use this journal. I had fun creating it, and sometimes that's all you need to do is just have fun creating an item. You don't have to use it for anything, but I really thought this one would be cute to either add small photos of my pets in it, or I could also use it as a gratitude journal where, you know, on some of the pages or on these little bitty tags, I could write things that I'm thankful for. Or I could also use it to add scripture or just to write poems, like really small ones, little small sayings and little small poems. If you're going to do anything large writing, you'll need a larger one. But for these small pages, I thought it would be neat to use it for different things like that. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to use it for. Let me know in the comments below, what would you use this journal for? Would you just make it for looks like this, or what kind of things would you add to this journal if you were using it as a journal? Well, I hope that you've enjoyed seeing me create this journal and decorating it, and I hope that it's inspired you to create something today. And don't forget to use coupon code Susan25 if you decide to order from In Love Arts Shop. You can get 25% off your order if you use that coupon code, and it helps me out just a little bit. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye.